Have you ever heard the phrase choose your hard, or anything that's worth doing in life is worth doing badly until you get good at it? One of the things that I want to talk about today is that choosing your heart, the things that life is going to happen no matter what, right? So as long as we're alive, we're going to go to bed at night, we're going to get up in the morning, and there's going to be some things that are going to be hard during the day to do, because anything worth doing over time in order to create success is going to be difficult. I happen to be, if you see my background today, I'm in Florida, and so they have this like Jurassic Park theme, and sparing no, I think it says sparing no suspense. And you think about how hard it was if the movie were true, right? In Jurassic Park, to be able to create dinosaurs and create a park and a theme park and all the things that could go wrong. But when I think about choosing your heart is I think about all the things that you're going to do anyways. If you're going to be doing something anyways, might as well be doing something that's going to bring you to success. We've been talking about doing the things in life that you were put on this earth to do and getting good at being able to do it. I was talking to a gentleman just yesterday, and we were really engaging in a life plan. And he was telling me about how much money he's making at his company and telling me about all the journey he's been on for the last 12 years and his fears, dreams, and goals that he was afraid to let go of, because he thinks, if I leave this place, then what do I have left? I said, well, what do you want to do? What are your goals? What are the things that are exciting you in life? I don't mean that you have to leave this profession. And he happens to be in the mortgage world. And he said he started out as a loan officer, and then he moved into a corporate position. And the amount that they're paying him and then what they're asking him to do and the hours that he's working, he's saying he could do so much better. But the fear of leaving where something is comfortable has overtaken his ability to move into something else. And so we started the time just talking about, okay, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you love to do? It's going to be hard, right? But what if you were able to succeed? If you knew, and this is a question that a coach asked me when I first started getting coached. He said, if you knew you could not succeed, what action would you take right now? If you knew you could not fail and you could only succeed, what action would you take right now? And if you knew that no matter what you did, you would be successful at what you're doing, it would be easy to make that decision to be able to do it. But the problem is we don't know what the future holds, right? Isn't that what anxiety is? Anxiety is not knowing what is going on in the future. And depression is living through your past and thinking that you can't have a future. And so all we really have is this section of now that allows us to do what we're going to do so that we can have that future, so that we can move into the things that we really, truly want to be. And what my life right now is so fun because it's dedicated to helping people find that thing that they want to do in life, and then helping them, just even if it's just a little tweak or it's a little thing that we can turn so that the vision can be, this is what I'm going to do and try. And I'm saying, I don't need you to give up what you're doing right now cold turkey. You're going to need to continue to do that because you need to know that it's capable, that you actually get to do it, that you can do it. Because until you believe in yourself, right, and others can believe in you more, those things become really hard. But then I said you need to choose your hard, because it's hard not to live your dream. It's hard to get up every single morning knowing that you should be in a different position. It's hard looking your wife in the face in the morning and saying, I know, honey, I'm not capable of doing what you want me to do or what I said I was going to do. Those things are hard. In fact, I would submit to you that those things are probably harder than doing the things that would it take to be able to take over your life and take over your destiny and take over who you need to be. Because it's so important that you get to become that person in which you were created to be. And we get so stuck in not believing that we're enough, not believing that we're good enough, not believing that we can tackle the things. And so, as we were having this conversation, he went back to a past life. He said, well, when I was a kid, I had a stutter. I had a speech impediment. I wasn't able to speak and have a good vocabulary in the words. And, I was just interviewing a person on my podcast lately. He said that the average prisoner speaks at a fourth grade level and has however many words of vocabulary that they have. And he says that's why they're so hard to get out of that prison system. And so, but I was talking to this gentleman and I was saying, well, okay, that's how it was when you were 7, 8, 10, maybe even 12. But right now you are articulate. Right now, I don't have any trouble understanding you. Right now, I don't have any issues whatsoever with being engaged in your vocabulary, engaged in your ability to speak, engaged in your ability to influence. You know your stuff. I said, he said he's in his 30s right now, and he said he's been doing, in this business for over 12 years. And I was thinking, so for 12 years, all the knowledge you've gained, how could we take that knowledge and create something that would allow you to have the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of having? And he says, well, my brother, he did this and he did that. And my family, we did this and we did that. But truthfully, I'm afraid of leaving where I'm at. And I said, is that hard? And he said, yeah, it's hard. And then I said, okay, so if we were to choose, how hard do you think it would be to do what you already know how to do, but to make 10 times as much money because there's people out there that are already doing it? And he looked at me and he said, yeah, I think those are some things that I would be able to do. Those are some things that I can do. I said, well, what it comes to being able to put together a plan. It takes together being able to execute the plan. And then it takes the ability to say, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to invest it in me. And that might be education. So you think about, I said, okay, so education, if we take the same principle of choosing your hard, and you need to go get a little bit more education. Now, I'm not sure you already know the business better than I could teach you the business, or others could teach you at an institution or a school, because you've already gone through that education. Your education might need to be on how do I sell myself, or on how do I take care of a business, or how do I make sure that I have enough in reserves that will be able to satisfy my family so I know I can take care of them. That might be the education, and that might be some hard stuff to learn. But do you think you can learn it? And he says, yes. I said, well, if you don't do it and you don't get that education, where are you going to be at 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? How hard is that going to be to tell your kids, you know what? Daddy didn't pursue his dreams. Daddy didn't do the things that daddy believed he could do. Daddy didn't do this. Is that going to be harder to have that conversation? Or is it going to be harder to go back to school, or to learn online, or to take the time out of it? And the reality is, a lot of us, what we do is we say it's too hard, so I'm going to go watch somebody else succeed. I was sitting in the car of what do you call it, like an Uber car, and we were having this conversation, and we got on the subject of fantasy football. And I had said, well, I'm not playing fantasy football this year. And then my daughter was in the car too. And she says, well, you're in our league. Did you get out of the league? And I'm like, I don't know if I got out of the league. I just know that it's something that I'm not interested in spending a whole bunch of time pretending that some good players are doing something and I'm getting rewarded for it. What's the actual reward for fantasy football? It's not like, okay, so I win the fantasy football championships and my life is better. How? And so I started thinking, but as we got into this conversation and I asked, okay, well, who's my quarterback? And she began to tell me who my quarterback is and who my receivers. And the guy who was in the Uber was able to tell me every single statistic about every player that we mentioned and what team they were on and what team they had moved from and how he had drafted this person and that person. And I asked him, I said, you seem to know a whole lot about this. Do you make money doing fantasy football? He says, no. I said, do you have the Sunday NFL ticket? And he said, I do. I said, so you watch how many games during Sunday? He says, I try to watch at least 6 or 7 games, which is what, 12 or 13, 12 or 14 different teams that he knows everything about. And I was thinking in this same vein, how hard is it, or how hard was it to learn every single aspect of players in the NFL who are living out their dreams? And how much studying and education did you have to go through in order to learn, memorize, know all the statistics about the people that you're watching on television? And we started beginning to have this conversation, and the guy that I was talking to, he was able to start telling me about all the players and the people that he knew as well. And I said, well, if you're going to choose your hard, you're worried about the education of starting a business, when there are mentors and people out there that can help you and want to help you and want to give that hand out and walk you, take your hand and walk you through. If you have the ability to memorize every player of something that you can't get rewarded, how hard then would it be to be educated about the people in your own life and the things that you need to do? And he did another aha. All right, so now we're thinking, okay, it's easier to have the education. It's easier than staying where I'm at and having to tell my kids something. And then we started talking about, building a business and how hard he thought about it was building a business, versus not building a business. And my thought to him is, you don't have to know everything there is to know about building a business to get started. There are starter kits. There are people who will walk you through the beginning basics of what to get going. And then we started talking about, part of my decision formula and the fact that you don't have to be good, because, you can get, doing things badly until you get good, right? It's worth it to do things not the best you possibly can do. We talked about how much money you would possibly lose. And I said, so let's say that you put $25,000 into a business and you lost it all. Do you think in your lifetime working where you work, you'll make another $25,000 and be able to save it up again? And he said, of course I would be able to. Of course I would be able to take that and be able to move that forward and be able to make sure that I could do that again. And I could save that. And he was like, we were talking about all the savings. I'm like, there's a big pool, lake of money that's out there. If it's not doing anything for you, it's just sitting there. So what if you were to take it and you were invested and you were able to take that $25,000 and in your first year, you were able to turn that into double it to $50,000. And then that second year, you were able to take that $50,000 and you were double it into $100,000. And then year 3, to say you took that $100,000 and you were able to double it into $200,000. And then year 4, $400,000. And then year 5, you just doubled every business for 5 years. And now you have $800,000 that you made in that year. Compared to how often is your salary over the last 12 years moving in proportion to how much things cost to live? And how much is your knowledge growing? And how much angst and how hard is it to get up every single morning? He says, yeah, I got to push that snooze button on the alarm clock. Said, imagine if you were excited about getting up, and you might be a little bit more tired because you're working on 2 different things. But how much more exciting are you in the morning when you get up and you know that as soon as you finish your time at work, that the time that you spend at work, you get to go do something that you enjoy, something that you love. Even just talking about when I'm listening to you, I see the smile on your face. I see the excitement. I see your chest sticking out and raising up and getting excited about the possibility. of being able to do something for it. I said, you're excited about this. You're excited about your ability to become a different person. And I said, okay, so if I could walk you through this process, if I could begin to show you on a daily basis, there are a certain amount of habits that if you do and you do them over and over and you become consistent at it, and that you're good at it. And I can show you where to find some holes and some gaps. And you were able to to get up every single day knowing that you have a plan in place to be able to leave where you're at and to be able to stop doing what you're doing. And I'm saying it's not like, some people, like I can remember when I was starting out and I was in these like multi-level companies, and I was in a couple different ones and I did pretty well in them. But I wasn't the person that I needed to be in order to take advantage of some of the things that they were going to do and some of the dreams that they gave me. They gave me the insight and the light and the head knowledge to be able to do it. But I didn't know how to interact with people, and I didn't know how to build teams and all these kind of things. And and so I failed miserably at some of it because I wasn't that person that I needed to be, and I didn't have a guide. I just had a dream, and I did it poorly until I was able to do it well. But it didn't take away from the experience of saying, I can do things. And so, I was saying, so I'm not asking you to go do something you've never done before, never have no clue about it, and become really good at it in a 6-month period of time. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you're going to take a little bit of time. You're going to take the skills that you've been learning over the last 12 years and are incredibly knowledgeable and good at it. And we're going to add a little bit of twist to it. We're going to learn. And I went through, if you haven't heard Myron Golden before, he has a couple really good videos on value. And he talks about, and I'm not even sure what all of them call, but the lowest level of value is a value where you're trading hours for dollars. You're using your muscles and your ability to be able to, your abilities to be able to trade those money for dollars. And the most you're going to make is about $80,000 a year, because you have to get up every morning. You have to go to work. You have to do what the man tells you to do. And you're using your body to be able to work. And your body can only do so much. It can't duplicate itself. And then he talks about the next level where you might become a manager and you can make a little bit more, maybe up to $250,000 or something dollars, because now you're a manager of something. You're helping somebody be able to, so you're duplicating your own team within a company. So I'm the manager of a McDonald's and I got a team of kids that come in and they do all fries and I get more time. So I get paid a little bit more because I'm managing teams. Then he talks about the next level, and there's 4 levels here. The next level is communication, which once you begin to communicate, an A-list actor, a singer, the sky's the limit on how much you can make because people pay you for your ability to communicate. And then he talks about imagination and the people who invent stuff like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, who they can imagine something that we all can take advantage of. And the reason I just told you that, and because it's something that I'm trying to apply in my life all the time, is how good can I get at communicating? Like what I'm doing on this video right now, and making sure that I'm communicating these concepts. And so I was having this conversation, and basically this coaching session today, or going to school with Dr. B, I guess this class today is exactly how I was coaching this young man who wants to turn his life around. And so I began to say, so you have these skills, you're communicating with me. What if we were able to take what you already know how to communicate and communicate well, and taking that to the marketplace? And how could you help? And we talked about whether it was a group of real estate agents. And I said, so if I could show you a way that we could market to people the things you already are doing, the things that you've already said, the things that you already know how to do very well, in a way that you now can begin to use your communication skills, how much would that be worth? And I said, is there anybody in your sphere of influence who's already charging to do some of what we're asking you to do? And you begin to think about it. He told me, like, well, the market is saturated. The market has too many people in it. I'm like, do you know how many, real estate companies or, realtors there are in the United States of America where we live? I promise you it's not saturated, not on the knowledge and the things that you were able to do. And so we started thinking and said, so if we can work on your ability to communicate, But before we even do that, we need to back up a little bit, right? Because I'm telling you an example of something we could do, and I want you to put your reticular activator, and we've talked about that before in these lessons, ahead of you on being able to talk about, okay, this is you now are going to go find other people and other things that you could say or do in order to get this, and how much that would be worth. Because he was saying, he looked it up and he saw that there, people are making $4,000 or $5,000 per person or something or per unit that is willing to pay for something like that. So I said, what if you were able to get 3 clients every single month that were willing to pay you $5,000 a month? That would be $15,000 every single month. You times that by 12 months, it's $180,000 in 1 year. What's that like compared to what they paid you over the last 12 years? And we really begin to start unpacking the simplicity of what he could possibly do if we were to take the things he's doing. But like I said, we got to back up, because I have to help you become that person that you need to be in order to do these things. Right. And so that begins with some habits that we need to do, things we've been talking about on other lessons, things that you need to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, the things that you need to listen to, the groups that you need to be a part of, the business plan, the education that you need to go get. I'm not as worried about the stuff you already know how to do. I'm more worried about the stuff that you don't know how to do that is even easier than the stuff you know how to do, because you already know how to do the harder stuff. You already know how to do the mind stuff that gives you the skill set that's necessary to do the thing. Because if you don't have the skill set, if I'm, I want to be a basketball player in the NBA, I can show you how to get ready to be a basketball player in the NBA. I can give you the mindset that could be a successful basketball player in the NBA. But if you're not talented and you're not probably over 6 feet tall, unless you're a super special person, then you're probably not going to play in the NBA. It doesn't matter how much mindset I can spend with you. So the hard part in this case is he already knows the skill set and has the ability to do the thing that is going to make him some money. Now we just need to tweak some of his mindset and the things that he needs to do on a daily basis in order to get ready to be that person. And then once he does that, oh my gosh, this is all over. But the choice still has to be his, right? Because now he's got to face the fear, right? The fear of, what if I'm not enough? And then we look at the hard here when we think about, picking your hard. Is it harder to be fearful every day you get up that you're not enough? Or is it harder to go after and do the thing and fail at it and get better at it? And I will submit to you, it is a lot harder to face the fear every single day of not being enough than it is to be out there going and doing something and trying it, failing at it, learning from that mistake and moving forward. Because the difference in the person who is just the hardness of just feeling like you're not enough, that begins to grow and fester and hardens in your heart. And then it starts taking over your relationships with your family, because you're not enough. Then it starts taking over the relationships with the people that are around you. Then you start crawling home. Then you move into that person that now has to live their life through other individuals, where the person who takes 1 step and moves back takes 2 steps forward and 1 step back, then 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Eventually, he is further down the road if he keeps taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back than the person who's going backwards back to something that's not going to happen. And so as you're thinking through this, I want you to really think about choosing your hard. What does that hard look like? And then deciding and making that decision, okay, this is the hard I want to choose. Because either way, it's going to be hard. There is no easy road. There is no easy road to success. There is no easy road to becoming the person that you want to be, to do the thing that you were put on this planet to do. That, my friend, doesn't exist. There's nothing that's easy. But it's choosing the hard that is going to get you to your dreams instead of choosing the hard that's not. So I hope you enjoyed this class today. I hope that it's been something that you can value, something that can work for you, that you go, even if you just want to have the conversation, put some comments down here, figure out how to get a hold of me. I'm all over the place. I would love to just walk you through the process. Whether you want to spend more time with me or not, whether you want to get coached with me or not, or somebody else, I would love to walk you through not only becoming the person you need to be in order to do it, but what it's going to take to get to the place that you want to be. So you guys have an awesome, just wonderful, just incredible day today. Hey, don't forget your God's greatest gift, and he loves you if you allow him to. And we will look forward to talking to you on the next one. Have a wonderful day.